Happy Monday, up in Adams, parts unknown Chicago. Happy to be here. We're going to bring you a Colston Loveland interview that I have not shown to the world completely. We're going to dig into our bag. Thank you to Panini, of course. We were at the rookie premiere, and now there's some things happening. And now we're going to put some context together. That, of course, was not this week or last week or the week before, but like the Trey Harris Chargers thing. There's a little bit of things going on that we can connect the dots and maybe draw some conclusions from. So we're going to do that. This week on the program, George Kittle joining the Up and Adams show, a top friend. Today we have Luke Kuechly on what is it going to take to be the godfather to Christian McCaffrey's baby girl Colette. What's it going to take? Who's he fighting? Is it Greg Olsen? George Kittle probably wants in on that, so we'll get to that. We have, future Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly on all things training camp because they're in full swing. He's the smartest guy in the biz, so we'll get that. And like I said, we're going to go deep into the Panini bag so much. I left it for this week, okay? This week where they put the SBs and they put whatever. You've got to see the Isaac TeSlaas of the world, okay? These are the stars, the rookies. You want to get to know them? We've got you covered right here. Tomorrow on Up and Adams, I will have my top 5 futures, top 5 props on FanDuel Sportsbook. Matthew Hamilton. I have this this vein that pops right here. It's like the Julia Roberts, and it will be full. It will be full on. Like it will be out and about. Some of these values, and you call them value, and that's what you guys care about, right?
Yeah.
Mind numbing what some of the values are over at FanDuel Sportsbook for some futures. You're putting that list together. We went deep in our bag on Rookie Premiere. So grateful to Panini. Panini, by the way, sponsoring the halftime show yesterday between PSG and Chelsea. I sat there watching it with Chester. Chester was like, counterattack this, and you didn't think Chelsea had it this, and they weren't allowing goals. So I had a very great experience with my father yesterday watching that, of course. But Panini was sponsoring that, so we thought you and I we're going to go deep into the Panini bag. We had like 40 interviews with 40 of the rookies who are so excited and are going to make impacts day one. I sent you the link that Court sent me of all of the interviews. And which one did you pick for today and why?
It's going to be Isaac TeSlaa today from the Lions. He is such an awesome personality, a Michigan kid, so excited to put on that Lions jersey for the first time. Talks smack to Jackson Dart in there. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. And just going through these, I'm so glad you sent it to me yesterday because I felt like a kid in a candy store just going through these. There's so much good stuff in there that hopefully we can get out here over these next couple of days.
I love that. And we've got training camp in full swing already. We have players at the facilities. It's all good candy for us here on the Up and Adams show. Thanks, Hammer. Chargers rookies. I'm not in LA, but back in LA where I live, they reported on Saturday, with the exception of Trey Harris, which is something that I hope gets worked out soon. Beyond that situation, I'm really excited for LA. The Chargers, are they flying under the radar a little bit because of how rough that playoff loss was? Of course, piled on with just how seasons have ended for them in recent memory and I guess historic memory for this Chargers fan base. I think last year, if you really ask me, like in my heart of hearts, I do think it was just a small little sample of what's to come. When you really break it down, the roster was changed, flipped, major transitions, culturally major transitions. Like the expectations were maybe too high in Jim's first year. It was sort of still an unfinished product in a lot of ways, post Harbaugh, Joe takeover. And they won 11 games. The AFC, as we know, is loaded. It's hard to win any game. And now they've got this foundation set after last year. Jim and Joe, they've put together some next level touches on everything this offseason. No secret, we know they want to run the ball with Greg Roman. It was a bit of a head scratcher for me, but that's fine. They're going to continue to do that. But now you add these 2 first-round talents to the mix, and Amarian Hampton, who I got to meet, and Najee Harris, who we know and love. They're going to make the most of that. That is leveling up. That is we're good, we're not going to coast. How do we optimize this? And they get another superstar receiver in Trey Harris. Hopefully he shows up to pair with Ladd, who showed us he's very much the wide receiver one. He's the show. Give me the ball. And they had chemistry, of course. He and Justin Herbert, they're just going to build upon that. And that lets them open it up a little bit more, too. They add Mekhi Becton to the interior O-line. Thank goodness. And they bring back the majority of that reigning number one ranked scoring defense. So this team, don't be fooling around and saying that they're not loaded right now or they can't do it. And, you know, I just put a lot of responsibility for the leveling up of the squad on the 2 first-round draft picks. But if you listen to friend of the show, GM Joe Ortiz, talk about these two when I spoke to him last May, it'll all sort of make sense.
Last December or November, I'm watching Drake. I'm like, holy cow, who is this running back that's just running through arm tackles, making guys miss, and then just showing the long speed to finish or break off, you know, big runs. And obviously all our scouts that went into North Carolina this year and everyone who did them loved them. And I think I said it when we drafted him, it was a unanimous pick. You know, everyone wanted him and everyone was fired up to get him. So we're really excited to bring him on board. Well, when the Giants took Dart, they're showing all his highlights. And if you watch, like, it's number nine. It's like, oh my God, like, move on to the next pick. Like, let's quit showing this guy, because we had a long ways to go at that point, you know, so.
I'm such a big fan of Joe, such an honest, you know, like the fact that he's thinking about that, get the highlights off the screen so nobody grabs him. He, I do believe, landed 2 future stars there that hopefully make an impact week 1. I know that no matter who's on the roster, it's all going to come back to the quarterback. Justin Herbert, picked apart often, criticized much, okay? I want to make this clear because I know that I said, I don't know, I kind of believe in, I really believe in Bo Nix. Give me all the Bo Nix this year. If he has a regression, if he sees some regression, I would be really surprised, Bo Nix. That I am a believer in Justin Herbert. I've always been a believer in Justin Herbert. When I ask guests about this narrative or what, I really don't even ask about the narrative. I say, what's your question? I leave it open-ended on purpose. Chargers fans, hear me. I leave it on purpose because it's my job. I'm curious, what is the question? Is it a lazy narrative? We're talking about former players and analysts, people who've played with him even for any stretch of time. I do want to know, like, what is this about? What is the indictment on Justin? And clutchness does come up. I hate it. I don't want it to be a thing. I ask because I want to know what it is, even just to dispel it as a fellow introvert. Not because I believe it, everybody. These narratives are a thing until they aren't. And he's got the most complete team around him that he's ever had. And he's got to put up big wins. And he's got to shut people up. And when you look at FanDuel Sportsbook right now, they are favored to make the playoffs at -124, second best odds in the division at +310, win total of 9.5 games. I don't think anything's out of reach for them this year. And speaking of people who want to shut people up, it's like my favorite hobby, shutting people up. I'm in Chicago. I have not spent this much time in the Midwest since college, I don't think, since the University of Missouri and St. Louis years. I'm still in Chicago. And if you missed it, there was big news. People on the streets, on State Street, on Washington, on Wacker, just screaming, excited about the Ryan Poles situation. Okay, if you missed it, the Bears extend him through 2029 on Friday. I was really excited to see some of the love for Ryan Poles. And then I was absolutely disheartened. I was dejected. I was downtrodden, sullen, if you would. Some of this was gross, the reaction, okay? Some of this is a little disgusting. I know ultimately, the league's about results, wins and losses. This doesn't really tell this whole story though, right? When it comes to a job as complicated as a GM and inheriting, and then you throw a salary cap in there, and you throw coaches in there, we have not gotten to see all of Ryan Poles' work pay off on the field yet. That's why I like when you give him a little bit of time to maneuver. If you are one of these losers that don't think that he's done everything that you can possibly do to set a team up for success, you are a loser. In 2022, Poles walked into a situation with a coach and a quarterback combo he didn't have any hand in choosing, into a roster that had just been stripped and just like withered away to escape salary cap hell. And in 3 years, he has built one of the most talented and promising young rosters top to bottom. We were all saying ahead of last season, like, Caleb's walking into the best situation ever. Where did you guys go? They didn't have a great season, but isn't there other reasons for that? We're talking about Ryan Poles. we're trying to talk about him in a vacuum in a city that wants everybody's head on a spike, I guess. So maybe I'm wasting my breath. But maybe the most important thing to note with the extension is that it ties him they're tied, him and Ben Johnson. You remember, like, you used to go to, you guys don't remember this because most of you are dudes watching, you used to go to Claire's Boutique or Afterthoughts at the mall, maybe on the northwest side of Chicago at the Hip or at Clark and Lake and that like cool mall thing that they had, or Magnificent Mall. I used to buy best friend necklaces, okay? Besties. There was like even like a heart and you'd like put them together and you'd give it to, that's what's happening with these two, okay? These two are like simpatico. They are for each other. And they're tied, and clearly, and this is what Ryan Poles at his introductory, Ben Johnson's intro press conference, he said Ryan Poles was a factor, and he talked about the two with those best friend necklaces, not really, but listen.
And Ryan, thank you so much for trusting and believing in me. What you and your staff have already built here is so enticing. This roster is absolutely loaded with talent already, and I look forward to building it with you. You and I, as we've already talked about, we're going to be in lockstep every step of the way. In terms of true alignment, you're going to have to talk to the powers that be here. They can fill you in on that structure, but we are going to be locked at the hip and connected every step of the way with all the decisions that are made.
They're connected at the hip. They've got best friend necklaces. They're like the two emojis that people joined, like the two gals running around. That's them right now. And everyone likes the quarterback and the coach relationship, the quarterback, the OC relationship, the receiver quarterback. My favorite, most fascinating relationship, the dynamics in the league, are the GM and the head coach. How do you work? Want to know why? Because the best ones in the league make it. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell. That needs to be Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles. I think that's it. They need to be aligned. And that doesn't really have a great chance to happen if Poles and Johnson aren't aligned contractually as they are. The Bears did the right thing. I could not be more excited about the future of this organization. And I don't know when I said the last. Maybe I've spent too much time in Chicago eating the Garrett's popcorn. There is a lot of value to be had on these Bears over on FanDuel Sportsbook if you, like me, are a believer. They're plus 190 to make the playoffs, plus 550 to win a brutal NFC North, by far the longest odds in the division. Their win total is 8.5. That division's going to make things tough, I know. Hence those returns. I'm a big Caleb fan. He's got to be talked about here, but I do think it's a big step forward in Chicago. I think that relationship, the solidifying it, is great. And you criticizing it is so Loserville, because you just need to let it happen and let them take a big step up. Okay, short break here. We've got Luke Kuechly on the other side. You remember, when I think of Luke Kuechly right now, I think SHEMAR Stewart. Luke's telling me, SHEMAR, so much talent, raw vibes. He's my favorite. Where is SHEMAR? We'll get into it after this.
And Ryan Poles, a BC guy, just like Luke Kuechly. I don't know if you noticed.
Of the discuss. I'm drinking this is literally the longest I've been in Chicago since high school. I just want do I live here now? Do I live in Chicago now? I might. I can't.
Yeah. No. You can't do it. Speaking of Chicago, I snuck a little something in there. I don't think you noticed. During that time when we were showing, some pictures of Ryan Poles. Look at this.
Oh yeah, Ashton. Ashton's like a real ass Bears fan. Like, it's not. So, do you remember when we were on Good Morning Football and quote unquote, not Ashton's obviously like for super celebrity, but like celebrities would come on and they'd be like, "Yay," and their publicists would be like, "They're huge sports fans." Like, and then they'd be like, they weren't at all. But I thought it was funny. Like, I actually enjoyed that. But we'd have like a ton of, that's not, because that exists, right? Like, just to that is not this man. This man is he's for the streets. I didn't really see any of the negativity with it, but I've been living in a, Pequod's, Giordano's, Jay's Beef, like, little bubble.
There was a lot of
go ahead.
There's a lot of like pointing out his record so far and all this, and how can you extend him with that record? And it's like, you can't just, as you said, like, you can't just look at it in a vacuum. There's a lot of layers here, and I'm glad they see what he's brought to the organization.
I hung out with my nieces yesterday. I went up to hang out with them. I told you that. And I saw my brother for the first time since my first pitch. And he was really laying into me. He was so disappointed in me. He was like, he was doing the ask about the hat sort of, like he like mocked it up and was like, what have I taught you? Nothing. Not my best moment. It wasn't terrible.
I mean, no comment.
Yeah, I know. He's got 2 athletic daughters, so like, it's hard. What you don't have, what you never had in me, like you have with them. It's nice.
It's true. Yeah. You can be proud of them.
Why are you tweeting about soccer? And I'm like, literally, I'm like, Dad, what's going on? And I would just like tweet it. I enjoyed it.
So there's something going on with replay reviews or something.
I didn't realize there was a ref cam. It was very weird. They have a camera on the ref. I don't think I liked it. And I guess it was the first time they did it in the tournament, but I didn't see any other match. Anyway, here we go. A minute.
There's some Luke chants here in the stadium. Kuechly, you are beautiful. Man, the tackling machine. Luke Kuechly, what more can you do?
Welcome to it has been a long time, Luke Kuechly, since I have seen you last. 5-time first team All-Pro, future Hall of Famer, Panthers radio analyst, smartest man in football. How you been?
I am good. How's your summer been?
Pretty good. I'm in Chicago. I threw the first pitch. It was awful, but I'm not an athlete, so there were no expectations unless you were related to me. I think your summer's been crazy. What is it like, Luke, to have 2 movies about you come out this month? Superman movie and Superman, the Inside Story of the 2015 Carolina Panthers.
The 2015 one I think is going to be really cool. It's obviously the 10-year anniversary of that team, and that was one of my favorite teams that I honestly ever played on. The guys on the team obviously went to the Super Bowl. We had a great season. We didn't lose a game until Christmas, but that collection of guys was special. It kind of just all worked out. We picked up Peanut Tillman, we picked up Jared Allen, all these Hall of Famers. We had Roman Harper that came in. Kurt Coleman came in as a free agent. And it was so much fun that year, and watching guys like Mike Tolbert right here, and this play that everyone's watching. This was in the NFC Championship game at home, and the place erupted when Cam jumped over and scored. There are so many memories, and when all the guys get together, we talk about the plane flights, the bus rides, the time in the locker room, the fun we had at training camp. It's amazing. I think if you'd ask any guy that's played the game for a long time, they talk less about the plays they made and more the times they had together with their buddies. And I don't care what you do when you're done playing the game, you don't get those opportunities back.
I love that the Charlotte Observer did this. It's an online series. The first part of it comes out today. The doc premieres later this month, and I do believe we have a little taste of the trailer. Take a look, everybody.
Well, if it's your end zone, then why am I in it?
It was something stupid. It was small. It was fun, but to us, it was a big deal.
It was one of those things where you like, damn, this is different.
I think he like pointed at Cam, and then it was like game on.
I can't wait to see this. This is amazing. And by the way, all proceeds from this Charlotte Observer event that you'll be at the premiere for will be donated to Veterans Bridge Home. It's a charity supported by Ron Rivera, of course. What are you most looking forward to? Like when you see this, when you think about what that time in your life was, where does your head go?
I think the opportunity to be back with those guys. I know Ron is going to be up there on stage. I'm going to get up there and talk a little bit. JJ Jansen, our long snapper, will be up there. And I think for us, it's more an opportunity to reminisce and think back about how fun it was. Because that season, from the beginning of the season till the end of the season, there's always something fun going on. From everybody wants to talk about the training camp fight with Josh and Cam, where they went at it. And I remember as the season progressed, I don't know, it was week 3 or 4, we picked up Jared Allen, which for me was a huge deal because he was a guy that I grew up watching in Kansas City and Minnesota. And all I could wait for was I wanted him to get a sack so he could do that sack dance. There's not many guys whose sack dance I think is awesome. That Jared Allen sack dance, I could not wait for him to get one of those. So I got to see that in person. And then just watching the season that Cam had was so special. And a couple of the road games that we had struggled to beat Seattle in Seattle for a long time. And then we went out there and we were down in the fourth quarter, and Cam took the offense down and scored at the end of the game. And I think after that game, we were kind of like, you know what, we have an opportunity to be a really good football team. And just that whole year, there was fun stuff that was going on. Ron let us have a lot of fun. He really leaned into the fact that we had good older guys on our roster that I think he felt very comfortable not handing the team over, but allowing those guys to set direction of the team with, Thomas and Charles Johnson and, Greg and Ryan Khalil. And one guy that I don't think will ever get appreciated enough on that team was Jericho Kochery. You look at that wide receiver room, Kelvin gets hurt in training camp. There's really not a consensus number one guy. Greg was, my whole time in Carolina, Greg was our number one receiver, even though he played tight end. But that room needed something, and I think Koch was able to give it to him just as far as.
I just texted Hamilton and Chris, I love that we're getting Jericho Kochery right now. I love Kuechly.
I don't know if you've met him before, but he's the best dude. He's competitive, he's physical, he's tough. He doesn't care who gets the recognition. All he wants to do is hang with the guys and win football games. And I think he was a great example for some guys in that room, and that were younger guys, Funch and Philly Brown, and Ted was an older guy, but he was great for Ted. It was just, they did a really good job of building that team with great people, that their number one most important thing on their mind was being a good teammate and doing whatever it took to win football games.
You mentioned that somebody's pointing at Cam in that trailer. What's that story? Who's pointing at Cam?
That was Josh. That was Josh Norman. I don't remember when that was. That was when those two guys got into it a little bit during training camp. And there's the picture that everybody has with Cam with his red quarterback jersey and has Josh by the face mask or whatever. And Cam threw a touchdown and was chirping, and then Josh picked Cam off and pointed at him and was chirping, and it was hot, and it was halfway through training camp, and everybody was tired of each other, and they got into it, and everybody wanted to make a huge deal about it. But it was just two guys that were competitive and having fun. You go in the locker room afterwards and everyone's joking about it. And I think that's just the mark of a good team, is guys are relentless competitors, but at the end of the day, we're all here to have fun and win football games.
We've talked about that one moment before. I think that was like the moment that sparked the, we're going places of, like, right?
I think yes and no. I think it was a big moment for, obviously our whole team, but for our defense, in the sense that that was Josh's fourth year, and he really popped that year. He played really well in that 2014 season, had a great year. And then going into the 2015 season, we kind of had some question marks in areas on our team. And one of them was, quite frankly, the quarterback position. We brought Peanut in that offseason as a free agent, and Josh had all the talent in the world. And for him, he had a great training camp. He made a ton of plays. And for him to have the confidence and the attitude, and for him to continue to make plays during training camp and not back down from everybody, I think we kind of knew that position. Yeah, there you go, right there. That position is not going to be an issue for us. That outside corner opposite Peanut will not be an issue. And I just look at Cam. Look at Cam. He's just bigger than everybody. That's the funny part, is everyone's trying to defend Cam and help Cam because he's a quarterback, but he was one of the biggest guys on the team, and it was kind of a joke, like, hey, you know what, Cam's gonna be fine.
When I remember, the way I remember that is just the competitiveness. I think a lot of people do point to that moment being a little something, like the kind of spark that you kind of want to see that. And Cam can handle himself. It's not like you're saying. If you were to describe, how would you describe that team in one word? Like, if I said, I would probably say competitive. What would you say? Competitive's
a good word. Family gets overused. I think we're a very tight team. I think there's oftentimes, not factions, but there's groups on the team that get along better than others. This team was all about each other and all about having fun. And I think we were very tight knit. I'll give you two words: tight knit. I think very, very competitive. And I think the competitive atmosphere lent itself to great practices and competing in games. And then I think the tight knit side, obviously, the surface level of that is everyone got along with each other. But I think it goes deeper than that, in the sense of it's tight knit in the sense of I think guys were super unselfish that whole year with everything. Who got the ball, who didn't get the ball, who got the sack, who didn't get the sack, who made the tackles. I think Thomas was always a great example of that. The guy just wanted to win games. And same thing with Roman and Peanut and Jared Allen and Charles Johnson, older guys that all they wanted to do was win. And I think as that team was coming together, I think these guys all understood that this team is special. And it's actually, I'm going to bring it back to Koch, Jericho Kochry. We were in 2014, we played the Arizona Cardinals at home in the playoffs. We beat them at home. It was an interesting game. It was misting rain, little chilly. It was an awesome defensive game. And that game was ending. And I remember Koch came up to Thomas and I and said, hey, this team is really special. It's a special team for, a lot of reasons. And unfortunately, the next week went to Seattle, lost in Seattle in that was the end of the 2014 season. But a lot of that team came back and we added some really good guys. So Koch saw it at the end of that 2014 season, and it just kind of started to melt into that 15 season.
And you just beat people up after every play. Like the other word that I would probably use if I really think about it, like physical. Like y'all just really got after it and beat everyone play after play after play. You're using tight knit and family and like unselfish and all of this. What was Cam Newton's role in that?
I think Cam was ultra competitive with everything, shooting baskets at practice, first guy in. And I think his toughness was always something that there's a lot of things I loved about Cam. There's a couple things that he did that I don't think necessarily get enough credit. I don't think I ever saw Cam yell at somebody, get mad at somebody, call somebody out in a negative way. I don't think he ever blamed anybody. And I always appreciated that about him. If the snap was too high, he's like, I'll get it. If he threw a bad ball, he's like, hey, what can I do better? And in the games, he was just relentlessly competitive, and he was so tough. The toughness that Cam had was something that doesn't get talked about enough. And he didn't always need to say things, but if you just watched him and watched how he treated people and watched how he worked and watched how he would get hit and get back up and watch him run through defenders to get first downs, you kind of understood that, hey, like toughness for us isn't negotiable. Our quarterback is running through guys' faces and getting up and doing dances and flexing and scoring touchdowns. And you kind of just said, hey, you know what? This is the standard for what this football team is about. This is our quarterback. This is what he wants. We're going to do the same thing he's doing.
It's so funny how toughness almost gets devalued when you talk about what's important with a quarterback. And there are other important things, but I got to say, just as a fan, I hear it over and over again from players, right? Like players who will run through a wall for a Matthew Stafford, a Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, the guys who, not even like, Baker Mayfield's not the most imposing guy. He's not exactly built like Josh Allen, but like somebody who's not afraid to set that tone of Geno Smith, like the toughness matters, I think, more than maybe I give it credit for.
Oh yeah. And toughness is about showing it. I think you can't talk about I'm tough, because guys have been around the league long enough. Guys have played sports long enough. Toughness is about showing it to me. And when you show it to guys, they also understand that, hey, I got to do it too. You think Josh Allen wants to score a touchdown on 4th and 5? You think he's going to run through 5 or 6 guys? Yeah, and you better believe that Deion Dawkins knows that. And Deion Dawkins is going to push and fight and claw to do whatever he needs to. And the same thing with Mike Evans. And just, at the end of the year last year with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, Mike had that big incentive in his contract, and Baker made sure he got that ball. And I just think these little things from that quarterback position that go unnoticed by people don't go unnoticed by the guys in their team. Toughness is a decision that you make, and some guys are better at it than the others. And the guys that are really good, their toughness shows, and the rest of the team revolves around that.
It's not always physical, it's mental. So let's flip it to the 2025 Panthers. How tough is Bryce Young?
Okay, so with Bryce, he hasn't had the opportunity to show it like the rest of the guys, but I go back to Bryce's rookie year, right? So we'll talk about physical and kind of mental toughness. Yeah, I think he got sacked 62 times, and he got hit a heck of a lot more. And Anish, Jake, and I would sit in the booth each week and watch it happen. And all Bryce ever did was get up and run off to the sideline. And after games, he never complained about it. I don't think he ever did anything in the locker room complaining about it. Obviously, he would address the situation, but all he ever did was get back up and get back on the field. So there's your physical toughness for a guy that's, quite frankly, he's not the biggest guy out there. And then
no, it's like tougher.
You look at last year. Yeah.
It takes more guts to not be imposing and get, have these guys trying to kill you. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then last year, first play of the season, throws an interception in New Orleans. We get spanked. Then Andy comes in. Andy plays really well, wins the first game in Oakland, played great. Andy gets dinged in unfortunate car crash. Luckily, everybody was okay. And then Bryce came in, and all he did was get better as the season went on. So for me with Bryce, he's shown that he's physically tough. He's shown that when there's a little bit of adversity, he got benched. The guy didn't get hurt, nothing. He got benched. And for him to stay locked in and come back and have the second half of the season like he did, I just think shows that he's got the physical toughness he showed his rookie year. And then mentally, he's tough as well to be able to come back and have the second half of the season that he did. It just, the signs are there. Now we just got to put the whole picture together.
Odds on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Training camp kicks off next week. Plus 225 to make the playoffs. You're close to this team. What is a strength for this Panthers squad no one's talking about right now?
Oh, no one's talking about it. You know what? I think that we did a lot to help the offensive line last year, bringing Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, who drafted Icky in the first round, Taylor Moton's a stud. Where we struggled a lot last year was up front on the defensive line. We quite frankly were not very good. But the one thing, obviously we had a first round pick at receiver, but we get a first round pick coming back, Derek Brown, who I think obviously was banged up the whole season, hurt his knee week 1. He's obviously a fantastic football player. He's disruptive. I think he had 100 tackles in 2023, went to the Pro Bowl, signed a big extension, presence inside. I think we missed, obviously, him as a player. We missed the personality and the presence that Derek has on that team, at practice, in games, on the bench during the games, on the plane to and from. There's certain guys that are really good football players, and then there's certain guys that are really good football players and great teammates and great for your organization. We miss the presence that Derek Brown had in the locker room and practice and games to bring guys along, to show the toughness, to show the attitude, to say, hey, I play defensive line, but I play almost all the snaps during the game, which is rare. We need that guy back and playing at a high level, and he looks really good right now. And then you add Tershawn Wharton and Bobby Brown, and Ashawn had a fantastic year last year. Our defensive line on paper coming into the season looks a heck of a lot better, and that's a credit to Dan and Brant and those guys for putting that all together.
I don't know if they're done yet. They might be adding some things. I know you'll be out at training camp. And I love that. If we look at sort of we zoom out a little bit outside of the Panthers, I know you're looking at not just them. You're looking at everybody. I talked about Ryan Poles, him getting a deal done, Ben Johnson, the expectations. I'm sitting here in Chicago. I left Caleb Williams for you. I didn't talk about him. What are you looking at, or what is intriguing about him over this next month?
I think the first thing that you look at with Poles and Ben Johnson is that offensive line. Caleb got hit a lot last year, bringing Thuney and Dahlman and Jonah Jackson in free agency. They got a first-round pick at one tackle. They go get a BC guy, Ozzie Trapillo, in the second round and potentially play the other tackle. And then you look at the receivers, it's all first-round picks. I mean, Luther Burden could have been a first-round pick, second-round pick, and then they get Colston Loveland to sling it around to with Cole Kmet. They are loaded on offense at the skill position with DeAndre Swift, obviously a big, heavy runner. But I think what changes for Caleb Williams that's going to be super helpful is everybody talks about how do you take care of a young quarterback, and a lot of it has to do with the passing game, right? Mm-hmm. And the amount of play action pass that Detroit used last year with Jared Goff was, top 5 in the league. And then you look on the contrary with the Bears, not a ton of play action pass from them last year. And the play action pass does a lot of things. It provides easy windows for the quarterback to throw the ball. There's easy built-in checkdowns, guys in the flat, easy completions. It takes a lot of pressure off the offensive line because instead of playing pure drop back pass where these defensive linemen can pin the ears back and rush, they're taking a play action run fake. They're moving sideways, and instead of moving vertically, they're sideways and then vertical off the play action pass. And you got to imagine that Caleb's going to be more comfortable going in to year 2. And I think one of the most difficult things as a defender is short completions and tackling guys in space. And you got 2 really good guys. One of them, Luther Burden coming out of college, a big physical receiver that's kind of built like a little bit like a running back. And then my guy, DJ Moore, that when the ball is in his hand, you never know what's going to happen. So the play action pass, the offensive line, the skill positions that they have, and, Caleb going into year 2, I think they're set up pretty well. And probably a big reason that Ryan Poles is signed that extension, and people are talking highly about the Bears.
See, everyone but Bears fans talking highly about it. Are you listening, Chicago? I should have just if I had a megaphone that I could take somehow from my computer to the streets of Chicago right now. Get excited. Be excited. It's all happening. We're taking giant steps. We're going to take a short break. Back with Luke Kuechly. I want to go to the defensive side of the ball. I want to talk about people taking big leaps. I want to talk about if you're the godfather of a certain baby that's famous right now. We'll be back after this. Awesome. Matthew, I'm flipping coffee to coffee. Here we go. This one's cashed, and away we go. I want to talk to Matthew. Thank you. As I just said, Matthew, coffee is changing. It's okay.
You needed one hot and one iced. Is that the deal?
It's like my new thing. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. But
I can tell the exact moment it started kicking in this morning.
I had a coffee before. I know, it's great. If I had had a coffee before I went on my little adventure this morning, I would not have misplaced my telephone. Not a chance.
That's true. Yeah.
One defensive player. At one point I was like, oh, somebody took it out of my back pocket as I was walking. Because I was like, there's no world where I could have dropped. There's no world. And then I was like,
there's no world in which it could have been my fault. Yeah.
No, are you? That's not true. I'm the most self-deprecating when it comes to that. But I was like, good on him or her. Like, wait, I didn't feel anything. I was like, wow, I was impressed. I was like, maybe somebody grabbed it, and well done by them. Good on you. Okay. Okay, here's what I would like to get you with Luke. And I loved the Caleb stuff. And I know that I went long on the Panthers stuff. It was just so good.
No, it was so good.
Josh Norman, Jared Allen, Cam Newton, a lot of personalities. And then that it keeps coming back to Kochry makes my little heart sing. Makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Koch.
And when you look at it, he's a guy, he played in a bunch of conference championship games. He was part of so many winning teams. So I can see why that stuck out. Yeah, he was with the Jets on those AFC championship teams. He was with the Steelers. So you get a guy who's been around that kind of success. Yeah.
Do we want to? Can you tell me what we want to get to here? I'd like I would say best defense or defensive player. Which one?
I like both of those.
Richard, can you ask him which one he'd rather talk about? Best defensive. It's okay. Can you just ask him? Thank you so much. And then I think TJ SHEMAR need to happen.
Best defensive player, best team. Yeah, TJ and SHEMAR for sure.
Team defense. Okay, great. Is he going to go? Oh, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. And then I think I think it'll be 4 questions here-ish. Because I'd like to ask team. I'd like to ask SHEMAR. I'd like to ask TJ. And then, I don't know, what else? All right, welcome back to Up and Adams. Appreciate Luke Kuechly's time. Of course, we talked a long time about this Panthers, but I loved it. I appreciate you joining us and giving us all the insights. You're in on Caleb. We're in on these Panthers. Is there a team that you are willing to say will be the best defense in the NFL this season?
I'm from Cincinnati, and I hate to say it, but I think Pittsburgh's always tough. You know, they've got some stuff to figure out. Everybody's looking at the TJ Watt situation, and then them sending Minkah down to Miami. But you look at the build of that secondary with Darius Slay and Joey Porter and Jalen Ramsey, and then you have Highsmith off the edge, and then TJ Watt on the other side, Cam Hayward on the inside. They've got some dudes, and Patrick Queen, and you guys know I love Peyton Wilson at the linebacker level. So they've got a little bit of everything. They've got a 3-level approach that I like. I think they just got to figure out, do they feel good about Juan Thornhill at safety stepping in for Minkah? And then I think the TJ Watt stuff gets figured out, but that defense, I think on all 3 levels, again, is going to have a really, really good opportunity to be a dangerous team this year in the NFL.
I mean, they were second in turnovers, ranked 12th in yards allowed, 8th in points per game. I love everything you're saying. Do you think Jalen's stepping in as safety for Minkah?
It'd be a good question. I wonder how they'll play him. I don't know what they're going to do. It's because they have three starters. You obviously Darius Slay, Joey Porter, and then Jalen Ramsey. Does he slide in and play the nickel position, or do they kind of rotate those guys around? But I think when you have really good players like that, you can figure out where to play them. But yeah, could they play him at safety? Absolutely. But I just like when you have a lot of DBs and a lot of talent and a lot of speed and length, you got a shot to be pretty good.
Should they? I mean, Beanie Bishop was good in that nickel spot last year too. Should they do that with Jalen?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that lineup right there. I think there's a lot of teams in the NFL that would say, hey, if this is our 5-man secondary, we're in pretty good shape.
I know everyone thinks the TJ deal is going to get done, probably because it should, A, and B, it's hard to imagine it not getting done. But we are hearing, from Steelers insider Mark Caboli, who we trust, that they've called around about his value, whether that's smoke and mirrors or, gamesmanship or leverage or whatever. If, hypothetically, if things were open, right? Who would you want to see swoop in? Which team to make an offer for TJ?
I mean, I would love for us to go do that. You go get an extra pass rusher. You had TJ Watt in a little black and processed blue. That's the official blue of the Carolina Panthers. I think we'd all take that, but we get some good young players. I think you kind of nailed it. I have a hard time believing that it doesn't get done. We led the NFL in forced fumbles last year at 19 TFLs. He had 11.5 sacks. And then the year before he had 19.5 sacks. The guy's still playing at a really high level. That position just calls for a big number. And I'm sure there's gamesmanship going both ways on this. Hey, we can trade you. Hey, I'm not going to show up to training camp. I think that this stuff always just gets done. And especially with a guy like TJ Watt, you got to believe that it would pain him not to be able to be there at the start of training camp and be with those guys and get on the field and put that helmet on and start playing football again.
Crazier trades have happened, Luke Kuechly, but hopefully it gets done. Are you as confident in the Bengals from your hometown, Cincinnati, getting it done with a gentleman who you were aglow about on this very program, SHEMAR Stewart?
I think for SHEMAR's sake and the Bengals' sake, they need to get it done sooner rather than later, because I think the consensus on SHEMAR has always been ultra talented, length, speed, athletic ability. But what I think has always been kind of not the question, but what people have talked about is, hey, he's a little bit of a work in progress. We need to continue to develop him. So yeah, I have a hard time believing it doesn't get done, but he's one of those guys, in contrary to TJ could show up and play, right? I think SHEMAR is a guy that he is going to benefit greatly from having the opportunity to practice and go through drills and step through movements and put his hands on guys and work on new techniques. So I think for a situation like this, if you're SHEMAR, you want this to get done as fast as possible, because the best thing for you in your career is to be on the field, on the grass, playing, because the development side of his game is, if he takes that seriously and he gets better, he's going to be a really dangerous player lined up all over that line for the Bengals.
I know, but how bad is this? Exactly what you're saying. You need the reps. Everyone said this before he was drafted. And from their side, they're reportedly, they're dug in. They're dug in on the language. It doesn't seem to be budging. How troublesome is this? What does this mean for him, for his development, and for the Bengals? How bad is this?
I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is just it's from a development point of view. What did you miss out on during OTAs? That's a really good opportunity, a low stress environment to practice, right? And then training camp, things get a little bit more cranked up. So I think that's the biggest thing for me that sticks out. That's frustrating, probably for everybody, Bengals fans, is we need this guy to develop, and it's frustrating, I'm sure, on both sides that nothing has been done yet.
Let's end with a happy note here.
Okay.
Your bestie, Christian McCaffrey, welcomed in a beautiful, healthy, gorgeous baby girl with his wife, Olivia Culpo. I believe Colette, Annalise McCaffrey. Tell me about the group text chain. How did you come upon this information?
I got a text from our old athletic trainer, Ryan Vermeulen, that said, hey, Christian McCaffrey and Olivia had their baby. I'm so happy for them. I've given Christian a little bit of space, but he's so excited to be a dad. He's a great guy. Olivia and him are awesome. Their girl is going to be beautiful. And I'm just, with all that being said, I'm so excited for Christian McCaffrey to be back and be healthy. And I've talked glowingly about Christian. He's going to have a great season. He's a new dad. It's just everything for him, I think, makes me excited. He got married. He's got a beautiful little girl, and he's going to get an opportunity to do what he loves doing, and that's play football with the Niners again this year. So I think if you talk about a guy that's won the offseason, I think Christian fits in that category.
Your face sort of says it all with how happy you are for him.
It's the best. I can't wait for him to play. Number 23 with the Niners holding the football is what everybody in the NFL needs to see. So
who will be the most fun uncle of the bunch? I mean, Kittle's on the show tomorrow. Are you and Greg fighting?
I think it'll be one of his brothers, his true uncle. It'll be one of those guys. I think Christian has three. There's four of them. There's three boys, and they're a super tight-knit family. And I think, Kittle would be a ton of fun. Huge check, Trent, Purdy. Yeah. But I think the winner will be one of those brothers of Christian, because they're super tight and they got a great family. And I think we're all very excited for them.
Are you proud of me for not really going into the whole Superman of this all, since it's a new movie and it's a hot thing? Are you like a little proud of me?
Absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Luke Kuechly, enjoy the rest of the short off season. You'll be at training camp sweating it out over there, I'm sure. Maybe we'll see you. I appreciate it so much. And everybody remember, there's real, I want to remind everyone, because these donations from the Charlotte Observer. It's the online series and documentary. Check it out. It's Supermen, the inside story of the 2015 Carolina Panthers. You've got a premiere to attend. Hopefully Koch will be there and you can hang out. All proceeds from the Charlotte Observer event will be donated to Veterans Bridge Home. It's a charity supported and near and dear to Ron Rivera, the maestro of what this team was back in an unbelievable, unforgettable 2015. Thank you, Luke, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Appreciate you. We will be back after this. I believe we might get to squeeze in an Isaac TeSlaa interview. We'll be back.
That was great.
I remember working in New England during the 2015 Cam thing, and it was like they hated Cam because it was Cam v. Brady MVP race, which was like undeniably Cam's.
Yeah.
And I would sit in this like newsroom at NBC Sports Boston, and like Brian from Braintree, and Sam from Situate, Massachusetts, or they're all like, no chance, like literally making their cases for Tom. And I was like, are y'all seeing this guy now? And it was definitely an interesting experience as an outsider, being like,
Yeah.
What was the voting then in that year?
I think it was almost unanimous.
I don't remember. It was so fun though. Cam was so fun. And for whatever reason, and being outspoken, you're always going to get shit.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite thing from the interview, is him saying like what Cam did, what, he didn't really have to say, which I thought's great, because everyone just says like Cam just talks and Cam whatever. No, it's like you don't have a tight knit family, whatever, if your quarterback isn't quarterbacking that.
Exactly. And yeah, it was almost unanimous. He got 48 of the 50 first place votes. Tom got one. Carson Palmer got one that year.
I don't remember the Carson Palmer experience that much. That's what sucks about
that
having
was
a great year. I know.
Yeah, that's who the Panthers played in that NFC Championship game and
Larry
beat them up pretty badly. Yep.
Who's the other receiver? Was that Beanie Wells?
At that point, I think Anquan Bolden, was gone at that point.
Who was the
he
other?
was there for a bit. Yeah.
2015 Cardinals. Beanie Wells, Beanie
Doesn't want to
Bishop.
load for me right now.
On the show. Did not see that coming today.
A lot of beanies and a Kotchery.
Okay. I don't remember this interview. I'm very excited to watch this. Big thanks to Panini for having me back at the rookie premiere in May and allowing Up and Adams, FanDuel TV, MSG Network, YouTube to have some of this footage. We have a deep bag of interviews from that, and it's all going to come together now as they're arriving to training camp. The rookies, it is here ahead of the 2025 season. I want you to meet Isaac TeSlaa. On the Lions, a Lions fan from birth, from Michigan, loves Calvin Johnson, obsessed with Honolulu Blue. And this is, I don't remember it. I'm excited to watch it with you. Okay, here with Isaac TeSlaa. You came out here and it stopped raining. What's the secret?
Man, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just good luck.
Isaac, you play in a dome, so it's not going to matter.
Exactly, yes.
What does it feel like to put this uniform on? Being from Michigan, that has to be special.
It's super cool. I've been a Lions fan my whole life, so to be able to put on this uniform for the first time and see my name on the back, feel my number, feel how the jersey fits, and just see everything, I mean, it's awesome. It's
Who's
surreal.
your favorite Lion growing up?
Of all time, probably Megatron.
I was going to ask,
Johnson.
like, when you put this on, that's got to feel crazy.
Exactly. It's the inverse of 81. It's 18.
Is that why you picked that now?
No, I mean, I had like 5 options, but I think it's a good reason.
What would you ask him if you could ask him anything?
How are you so freakishly athletic and good at football?
Yeah, okay. Well, you're pretty big-bodied and freakishly athletic as well.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a whole nother level.
What was this weekend like?
It's been awesome. I mean, doing all this content stuff, getting to meet so many cool people and listen to speakers and just absorb everything. It's been awesome.
Who's like the goofiest in this draft class?
Oh, that's a good question. Goofiest? Oh man, I think secretly he wouldn't admit it, but Jackson Dart's pretty goofy.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone sees him. He puts on this little facade. He thinks he's all, kind of walks around with his shades on. But I mean, behind the doors, we were just playing Clash Royale, and I mean, I beat his ass.
You beat him?
I beat, of course, back to back.
Shoot. What is it like? Have you met Jared Goff? How often have you talked to him? What's that been like?
Yeah, he texted me right after the draft, which was cool. Yeah, he did. And then I sat by him in the locker room the other day. We were kind of just talking, and then obviously catching balls from him and everything. So, yeah, great leader, great quarterback. Okay, and then you've got obviously like a new offensive coordinator, not new to you. It's your first one. Your impression of Dan Campbell. Your first in-person impression. Hit me. Holy cow, he's huge. You could tell he played. You could tell he played tight end. Yeah. You're saying he's huge. He's huge. He's massive. Hello. I'm sorry. What? Yeah. No. I mean. What is it about him that makes you want to like run through a wall? What is it about him? It's just his character. It's just the way he goes about his business. I mean, there's a whole reason that when we brought him in, the entire culture changed. He's the head man. When we brought him in, you're the rookie saying we brought him in years. I love this. That's I've been a Lions thing my whole life. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome. What's it been like to watch that turnaround as a Lions fan? And now you have to be a part of it. Yeah. Big pressure, Isaac. No, I mean, I think of my dad. I mean, he's been a Lions fan his entire life, so he's been through the ups and downs and the real downs, and now we're on the way up. So just to be a part of this now, and I feel like this is like the best time possible to be coming into this organization. So I'm just extremely grateful, and yeah, I mean, I've been through it all as a fan, so to be as a part of it as a player now is super special. When you put on that uniform, is it like a pressure feeling? What is the feeling when you think about like all that is ahead of you, and this is a Super Bowl contender? Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of pressure, but pressure is a privilege is what they say, so cheers to that. So, yeah. What's like the moment from this weekend, from this Panini experience that you want to remember 20 years from now? Like, what's like the snapshot of this weekend? Oh, that's good. Outside of Jackson Dart and beating his ass at some game that I've never heard of. I mean, that happens all the time. Actually, it probably doesn't happen all the time, but there's just so many moments. I don't know if I could capture one, but I think seeing my name on the jersey for the first time was super cool last night with that jersey reveal. What was the emotion? holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, like, I'm a Detroit Lion. I'm in the NFL, and I got my name on the back of a Lions
It almost
jersey
feels
now.
like it's not real. It's like such a story.
100%. Yeah, you got to like really sit there and be like, soak it all in.
And you have Green Bay week 1?
Green Bay at Lambeau.
And as a Michigan boy, that's actually insane.
Absolutely.
You're going to play at Lambeau Field to start your career.
To start my career, it's gonna be my first game. How crazy is that?
What expectations should I have for you? And what about these corners in the NFL? Ready to smoke them? What's the story?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just glad we're playing at Lambeau early in the season, so it's not going to be -30 and snowing.
If you score a touchdown at Lambeau, are you daring Lambeau Leap?
I think if I can find like a little muddle of Lions fans, which I'm sure the stadium will probably be half Lions fans anyways. So I'm sure I can find a little pocket. I know I'm on Raw or Gibbs or someone did it like last year and he got beer pulled out.
Players should get fined if they Lambeau Leap.
You think so?
I do.
I think it's a terrible rule.
I think you should, I think you're not allowed. It's
really?
Not for you.
All right, I'm going to do it just to spite you now.
Okay, sounds good. How's your hand feeling from all the signing for Panini?
It's actually pretty sore. Yeah,
I've been
doing my stretches in the morning to kind of help out with that.
Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. He's going to get fined by me if he does the Lambeau Leap. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. What's it like seeing, take me into that. So you were out here, Golden's out here. I saw Savion out here. What is it like seeing somebody that you're like, I like you, but like we don't like each other now?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I can't like him anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's against the rules to like him. I just, he's wearing green now. He's wearing green and yellow. I just I can't like him anymore.
Yeah.
There's no, I can't.
Michigan, you've got your boy here.
I was not ready for that, but you can tell that I liked him a lot because I kept asking questions. I would not let this poor man. I would not let the interview end. He's a real one. Detroit fans, I'll tell you that. And any man, he's going to Lambeau Leap to spite me. Do I love him? Do I love him? I love him.
That's when I ordered the jersey. As soon as I heard that line, I went over to NFLshop.com and I put in for it.
Will he Lambeau Leap? I don't know, but are we going to put that on the internet to try to cause some little brouhaha between him and Green Bay fans? Yeah, we will. And he knows that it's coming and he doesn't care. And Megatron, he loves you. And I just love Detroit. All things Detroit right now. Last year, everybody was on him. I'm on him this year. We'll be back tomorrow with George Kittle.